4 things that kill your value in front of a man. Stoic life lessons. Stoicism. Welcome to Stoic, where we uncover timeless wisdom to navigate life's toughest challenges. In today's video, we're diving into a crucial truth that many modern Stoics understand all too well. When you make yourself always available, you lose your value. Relationships thrive on respect and mutual effort, but when one person is constantly giving and the other is just taking, imbalance is inevitable. A lot of people, especially those with big hearts, naturally want to be there for their partners. But if you're always adjusting your schedule, always replying instantly, and constantly putting your needs aside for them, you might actually be setting yourself up for disappointment. It's human nature. When something is too easy to get, it gets taken for granted. And that's exactly why maintaining your own life, setting healthy boundaries, and preserving your self-worth is essential. Today, let's talk about how being too available might be harming your relationships and how you can shift your approach to gain the respect and appreciation you deserve. If you've ever felt like you're giving more than you're receiving, this video is for you. Stay tuned as we explore how to regain your power and build a relationship that's built on respect, balance, and mutual effort. Number 1. Being too available. In the quest to live a life of value and purpose, many men overlook key principles that can drastically impact how they are perceived, especially by others. One of these overlooked aspects is being too available, a common pitfall that diminishes your value in the eyes of others. The Stoic philosophers, who prized self-mastery and wisdom above all, would undoubtedly warn against this misstep. In this discussion, we'll explore why being constantly available can undermine your worth, and how embracing Stoic life lessons can help you regain respect and appreciation. One of the biggest errors men make, often unknowingly, is being too available. When you constantly make yourself accessible at the convenience of others, particularly in relationships, you inadvertently signal that your time and energy have little worth. Just like anything that's always within reach, your presence becomes less valued and ultimately taken for granted. The Stoics, such as Epictetus, would advise us that true value comes from maintaining boundaries and recognizing that your time is a precious commodity. In modern life, we can relate this to the way people rush to buy limited-time offers or exclusive items. There's a sense of urgency and value because they know these things aren't always available. But when something is always around, there's no excitement or drive to pursue it. This is the same with your availability. You may have noticed that at the beginning of a relationship or at work or in other spheres of life, people may seem eager and excited to connect with you. But as time goes on, if you're always there, ready to drop everything, they stop putting in the effort. This lack of effort erodes respect. Think of it like the way a limited edition watch or a rare item is prized for its scarcity. But when something is constantly within reach, the thrill disappears. Stoic principles teach us that true value lies not in being constantly at the beck and call of others, but in having a life of your own, one filled with hobbies, passions, and pursuits that are independent of the expectations of others. When you make yourself too available, you effectively rob others of the opportunity to appreciate your time, making them less likely to respect it. One of the most important lessons here is from Marcus Aurelius, who emphasized that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your availability should be on your terms, and this mindset is the foundation for building respect in any area of life. To regain your value, begin by establishing boundaries. and learning the art of making others work for your time. This doesn't mean you should engage in manipulative games, but rather that you should embrace a life of purpose. When you make plans with someone, it should be something meaningful for both of you. Simply saying, "I'd love to see you, but I already have plans," is a reflection of your commitment to your own life. This sets a clear message that your time is precious, and if they wish to spend time with you, they must respect your boundaries. Another key to maintaining your value is resisting the urge to always initiate contact. If you're constantly the one reaching out, take a step back. The Stoic principle of focusing on what's in your control comes into play here. If a relationship is worth nurturing, the other person will meet you halfway. If they don't, then their lack of effort is a clear sign, and you can choose how to respond. You're not a lifeline for those unwilling to put in the effort. Allowing others the space to miss you is another Stoic lesson. When you're always available, you remove the element of mystery and anticipation, which can lead to people becoming complacent. Give them room to wonder where you are, what you're doing, and when they might see you again. This space creates respect and strengthens bonds. Finally, as you continue to value yourself, set firm boundaries and enforce them. If someone repeatedly disrespects your time, as Seneca would suggest, walk away. The ability to protect your peace, to recognize when a situation is depleting you, and to move on is a sign of true strength and wisdom. By embracing Stoic life lessons and embodying these principles, you can regain your value, both in the eyes of others and, most importantly, in your own self-regard. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, it's easy to become a slave to others' needs and schedules. However, by recognizing the truth of your own worth, you can ensure that your time and energy are treated with the respect they deserve. This is how you win the Stoic way, not by being constantly available, but by living a life filled with purpose, meaning, and boundaries that prioritize your own growth and well-being. Number 2, accepting the bare minimum. In relationships, it's all too easy to fall into the trap of accepting the bare minimum, believing that small gestures like occasional texts or last-minute plans are enough. But the truth is, if you allow yourself to settle for these inconsistencies, you may end up diminishing your own worth. It's essential to recognize that you deserve more than just the minimum, and the Stoic mindset offers profound insights on how to break free from this cycle and reclaim your power. Let's explore how you can build stronger, more meaningful connections by setting higher standards and embracing the wisdom of the Stoics. When it comes to relationships, many people, particularly women, often find themselves accepting the bare minimum. They convince themselves that occasional texts, spontaneous last-minute plans, and sporadic communication are sufficient signs of effort from their partners. At first glance, these small gestures may seem meaningful, but in reality, they are far from enough. A man will only invest as much as you allow him to, and by accepting the bare minimum, you're sending a message that you're willing to settle for inconsistency. In essence, you're teaching him that doing the least possible is enough to maintain your presence in his life. This is where the power of the Stoic mindset comes into play. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-worth, boundaries, and the realization that we deserve more than the bare minimum in any area of life, including relationships. Seneca, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, wisely said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This quote speaks to the nature of growth and the need for challenges to refine and elevate us. Just as a gem needs friction to become its best form, we too require effort and investment in relationships to cultivate the love and respect we deserve. If you allow someone to treat you with little effort, it becomes easier for them to continue underperforming. Men, like all people, are naturally inclined to take the path of least resistance. If they realize that they can show up late, cancel plans at the last minute, and still receive your attention without consequences, there's little motivation for them to improve their behavior. So, how can you break this cycle and avoid accepting the bare minimum? The first step is recognizing your own worth. Understanding that you deserve genuine effort in a relationship is essential. When you truly value yourself, you will no longer tolerate inconsistency or neglect. You have the right to demand respect, communication, and commitment from those in your life. This starts with setting clear boundaries early on in any relationship. If he cancels plans without a valid reason, don't brush it off or make excuses for him. Let him know that you value your time and won't accept last-minute changes or poor communication. The famous saying, "What you tolerate is what you will get," rings especially true in relationships. If you tolerate inconsistency, that's exactly what you'll receive. Pay attention to his actions, not just his words. A man who truly values you will demonstrate it through his actions. He'll make plans in advance, keep his promises, and actively contribute to building a meaningful relationship. If his actions don't align with your standards, be prepared to walk away. The Stoics teach us the importance of living according to our values, and that sometimes walking away from a situation or person who does not meet our standards is the most empowering thing we can do. Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic philosopher, reminds us in his Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." 1. By choosing not to settle for less than what you deserve, you are embodying the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, and integrity. You are, in essence, becoming the best version of yourself, someone who respects their own worth and values their time. The key to cultivating a meaningful and respectful relationship lies in maintaining high standards for yourself and those around you. The right partner will rise to meet those standards. When you refuse to accept the bare minimum, you create space for a relationship that is built on mutual respect, effort, and shared values. The wrong partner, on the other hand, will leave when they realize you will not settle for anything less than real commitment. The Stoic mindset encourages us to act with clarity and decisiveness, rather than settling for situations that do not align with our values. As Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By reacting with confidence and conviction, you demonstrate that you will not settle for mediocrity, and that you are ready for a relationship built on mutual effort and respect. So, ask yourself, are you accepting the bare minimum in your relationships? Do you believe you deserve someone who puts in real effort and respects your boundaries? If the answer is no, it's time to embrace the Stoic mindset and raise your standards. Start by recognizing your own worth, setting clear boundaries, and being willing to walk away when necessary. When you embrace these principles, you will create space for relationships that are built on true effort and mutual respect, rather than settling for the bare minimum. This is how you cultivate Stoic happiness, by valuing yourself enough to not settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. In the words of Seneca, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By taking control of your own actions, setting boundaries and valuing your time and energy, you free yourself from the cycle of accepting less than what you deserve. You are the master of your own life and the relationships you choose to nurture. Don't let complacency hold you back. Embrace your worth and create space for relationships that reflect your values and aspirations. The power to shape your life and your relationships is in your hands. Your participation means a lot to us, and we really appreciate your thoughts, reflections, or even just a simple comment like, accept the minimum. Number 3. Over-explaining yourself. Over-explaining yourself is one of the fastest ways to lose value in the eyes of a man. Many women feel the need to justify their feelings, decisions, or boundaries, thinking that by explaining themselves thoroughly, they'll be better understood and respected. But here's the truth. When you over-explain, it often has the opposite effect. Rather than gaining respect or understanding, you come across as uncertain, insecure, and easier to manipulate. The Stoic mindset teaches us the value of confidence and self-reliance, and this is particularly true when it comes to expressing our needs and boundaries. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. The message here is simple. Your actions, the way you carry yourself, and the confidence with which you stand by your decisions speak volumes about your value. Over-explaining, on the other hand, sends a message that you lack self-trust and are looking for validation. You seek permission or approval to stand firm in your choices, and that undermines your power. Let's break down why this happens. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have, and a confident woman knows what she wants and doesn't feel the need to explain it endlessly. When you find yourself over-explaining, you're essentially telling the man that you're not sure of your own stance. You're also giving him the space to question your boundaries, potentially making him feel as though he holds the power to determine whether your feelings or rules are valid. This creates an imbalance in the relationship, where he may begin to feel entitled to push against your boundaries, believing that if he pressures you enough, you'll change your mind. In a healthy dynamic, however, both people respect each other's boundaries without the need for justification. As Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, once said, "Freedom is the only goal worth pursuing. This is the ultimate goal of life." True freedom comes from standing by your decisions without needing the approval of others, and that's where your real power lies. So how can you stop over-explaining and regain your sense of value and respect? First and foremost, keep it simple and direct. Instead of saying something like, "I just feel like you don't appreciate me when you cancel plans. I know you're busy, but..." Try something much clearer. "I don't accept last-minute cancellations." Notice how short and to the point that is. It's powerful because it's firm without being excessive. The moment you state your boundary, let it stand on its own. Resist the urge to fill the space with more explanations or reasons for your stance. Silence is powerful. After you express your boundary, let it sit. Don't rush to fill the silence with justifications. If he pushes back, calmly repeat your stance and leave it at that. The more you practice this, the easier it will get. Another key component of overcoming over-explaining is stopping the habit of seeking approval. Remember, you don't need a man or anyone else to agree with your boundaries for them to be valid. The right person will respect your boundaries because they understand the importance of mutual respect in a relationship. It's not about winning him over to your side. It's about you standing firm in your own truth. The more you trust yourself and your decisions, the more natural it will feel to express them clearly and confidently. Over time, you'll find that your self-assurance grows, and with it, your value. As you stop over-explaining and start standing firm, you'll notice that people begin to treat you with more respect. Your boundaries will no longer be questioned or ignored because you've made it clear that they are not up for negotiation. One important question to ask yourself is, how often do you find yourself over-explaining in your relationships? Are you confident enough in your boundaries to state them simply and directly, or do you feel the need to justify every decision? Think about how much time and energy you spend seeking approval or validation. Wouldn't it feel freeing to just stand tall in your choices without needing anyone to agree with you. When you learn to express your boundaries with confidence, you create a relationship dynamic rooted in respect and understanding, not manipulation or confusion. This is the essence of Stoic happiness, being grounded in your values and choices regardless of how others might react. To reinforce your self-worth, you must trust in yourself. The Stoic mindset teaches us that by cultivating inner strength and clarity, we are not swayed by external opinions. Your value comes from within, not from constantly seeking approval or explaining yourself. Once you embrace this idea, you'll see a profound shift in the way people treat you. You'll attract those who respect you for who you are and not just for what you say. So, the next time you feel the urge to over-explain, take a step back and remind yourself that your boundaries are valid without any justification. Trust yourself, trust your decisions, and trust the process. Do you respect your own boundaries enough to not over-explain? Are you ready to embrace confidence and simplicity in your communication? By doing so, you'll elevate your relationships and, more importantly, your relationship with yourself. Remember, when you stop over-explaining and start trusting yourself, you embody the essence of the Stoic life, a life led by clear principles, inner peace, and true confidence. Number 4. Staying in one-sided relationships. In the pursuit of meaningful relationships, many men find themselves unintentionally trapped in one-sided dynamics. They may not even realize the toll their behavior is taking, but the person on the other end feels drained and unappreciated. This isn't just a problem in romantic relationships. It extends to friendships, business partnerships, and any area where mutual effort is key. In this content, we'll explore why staying in one-sided relationships can diminish your value, why it's essential to recognize this dynamic, and how Stoic life lessons can help you navigate these situations to foster healthier, more balanced connections. One of the most damaging traps a man can fall into without even realizing it is staying in a one-sided relationship. These are the kinds of connections where only one person is putting in the effort while the other passively receives without contributing equally. In a truly balanced relationship, whether romantic or otherwise, both parties should be actively investing in each other's growth, well-being, and happiness. However, when you find yourself doing all the work, the effort begins to feel hollow and unappreciated. The Stoic philosophers, known for their teachings on balance and self-sufficiency, would be quick to point out that relationships, like all things, must be based on mutual respect and effort. In modern times, it's easy to forget this, especially when society often encourages people to give more or be there for someone without asking for anything in return. But to win Stoic in life, one must recognize that relationships are not charity, they are a partnership built on shared commitment. The problem with one-sided relationships is not just about feeling neglected, it's about the emotional exhaustion that inevitably follows. When a man realizes that the other person will always be the one to initiate contact, plan events, and put in the emotional labor, he becomes comfortable in his passivity. The man may not be doing this intentionally, he may genuinely enjoy the connection, but over time, he starts to take the other person's efforts for granted. This complacency can lead to an overwhelming sense of being unappreciated. It's a slow erosion of respect, where the one who invests emotionally becomes drained, leading to resentment and frustration. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This profound observation reminds us that letting ourselves be taken advantage of in a one-sided relationship diminishes our worth, and ultimately, we are the ones who lose. To avoid falling into the trap of a one-sided relationship, it's essential to start by evaluating the effort you're putting in. If you're always the one reaching out, organizing plans, or managing the emotional labor, it's time to take a step back and pause. The Stoic life lessons teach us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and responses. Take a moment to see if the other person steps up when you stop doing all the work. If they don't, it's a clear sign that they're not invested in the same way. Relationships are a two-way street, and when one party is giving all they have without receiving any effort in return, it's bound to create an imbalance. If you keep pushing forward while the other person remains passive, you'll eventually find yourself feeling more like a caretaker than a partner. This isn't the type of relationship that fosters growth or fulfillment. Instead of always being the one to make things happen, let the other person prove they care by matching your efforts. One of the most important lessons you can learn from Stoicism is to be willing to walk away from relationships that do not serve your well-being. The Stoics, like Epictetus, were adamant that we should never hold on to things that detract from our peace of mind. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is true for relationships as well. If you stop putting in the effort and the other person doesn't even notice, it's a clear sign they were never truly invested. In such cases, you're simply prolonging a relationship that has no foundation in mutual respect or genuine connection. Walking away doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing your value and refusing to settle for anything less than the respect you deserve. Life is too short to spend energy on relationships that drain you. Instead, make room for those that foster growth, mutual support, and shared effort. When it comes to navigating relationships, whether in your personal or professional life, remember that balance is key. Relationships that are built on mutual respect and effort are the ones that last. When one person is always doing the heavy lifting, it breeds resentment and imbalance. To win Stoic, you must adopt a mindset of equal investment, whether that means emotionally, mentally, or physically. If you give, ensure that the other person is also invested in giving. Relationships are meant to be a source of mutual benefit, not a one-sided transaction. This doesn't mean there won't be times when one person needs more support than the other. Life's challenges will naturally ebb and flow. But if you constantly find yourself the only one making an effort, it's time to reevaluate and consider what you truly deserve from the relationship. In modern life, it's tempting to settle into one-sided relationships because it feels easier or more comfortable. But easy doesn't always mean healthy. Just because someone is physically present in your life doesn't mean they are contributing to your growth or happiness. True relationships, those that are balanced and fulfilling, require both individuals to put in the work. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. By practicing the Stoic virtues of wisdom, self-control, and justice, you can build relationships that are based on mutual respect and effort, ensuring that both parties grow together rather than one person carrying the burden. If you recognize that a relationship is unbalanced, don't be afraid to make the tough decision to walk away. There is strength in knowing your worth and choosing relationships that align with your values and contribute to your peace of mind. As you move forward in life, remember that your value is not dependent on how much you give to others without receiving in return. Embrace the Stoic wisdom of accepting what is within your control, your own actions, and ensuring that the relationships you invest in are truly reciprocal. By doing so, you will not only preserve your emotional well-being, but also build connections that are rooted in genuine support and mutual growth. In the end, the relationships that truly matter will be the ones where both parties give, grow, and thrive together. End A. Have you ever been in a one-sided relationship? What lessons did you learn about self-esteem and dating? You deserve a relationship where you are valued, respected, and appreciated. Never settle for less. Have you ever been in a one-sided relationship? What lessons did you learn about self-esteem and dating? You deserve a relationship where you are valued, respected, and appreciated. Never settle for less. Additional strategies to increase your value in a relationship. In any relationship, your value should never depend on your partner's perception of you. True worth comes from within, and it is built on confidence, self-respect, and the ability to stand firm in who you are. If you want to increase your value in a relationship, it's not about playing games or trying to please your partner at all costs. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and creating a healthy, dynamic relationship that thrives on mutual respect and understanding. In this video, we'll explore powerful strategies that can elevate your value and create stronger, more fulfilling connections. Number 1, be independent. One of the most important things you can do in life, especially when it comes to relationships, is to be independent. Think about it. How often do you hear people say that a strong, independent person has a special kind of magnetism? It's true. A person who is self-sufficient and knows their own worth doesn't rely on another person to define them or validate their value. The Stoic mindset emphasizes this idea by encouraging self-reliance and personal growth. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, your happiness and self-worth should come from within. If you constantly depend on someone else for validation or approval, you'll be setting yourself up for disappointment. When you embrace your independence, you allow yourself to grow, and in turn you naturally attract people who respect your autonomy. So how often do you find yourself relying on others for happiness or validation? The Stoic mindset teaches us that your value is intrinsic. Nothing external should have the power to diminish it. Independent women know that their value isn't tied to their relationship status or the approval of others. Instead, they stay focused on their goals, passions, and relationships outside of any romantic connection. They continue to pursue their hobbies, friendships, and dreams because they understand that these things are what truly enrich their lives. When you allow yourself to do this, you're not only making your life fuller, but you're also setting an example of what real confidence looks like. After all, as Seneca once said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. In the same way, you must face challenges and continue to work on yourself to grow into the best version of who you are. Being independent isn't just about having a career or hobbies outside of a relationship. It's also about developing emotional resilience and understanding that you can handle life's ups and downs without constantly seeking someone else's approval. So, ask yourself, do you feel that your sense of worth comes from within, or do you find it tied to others' opinions or a specific relationship? True Stoic happiness is about being content with who you are, regardless of external circumstances. By focusing on your own personal development and continuing to grow in every area of your life, you naturally align with the Stoic principles of self-control and wisdom. Independence isn't just a trait, it's a lifestyle that invites fulfillment, growth, and respect into your life. It's time to embrace it fully. Number 2, don't fear conflict. One key lesson from Stoicism that can significantly elevate your value in front of high-value men is the ability to handle conflict with grace and strength. Many people, especially in today's world, shy away from conflict, fearing it may lead to discomfort or loss of favor. But here's the truth. Avoiding conflict often holds you back from personal growth and authentic connections. Conflict, when approached with a calm and constructive mindset, is a powerful tool for growth. Think about it. Have you ever learned something valuable or changed your perspective without some kind of challenge or disagreement? Healthy conflict pushes you to stand firm in your beliefs, encourages respect for others' viewpoints, and helps to clarify what truly matters in your relationships. A high-value man doesn't want someone who avoids confrontation out of fear, but someone who can face tough conversations with maturity and poise. Conflict is inevitable in life. It's how you navigate it that matters. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you let fear of a difficult conversation hold you back from addressing something important? In today's world, it's easy to stay in your comfort zone. But the Stoic life lesson teaches us that true growth happens when we embrace discomfort, especially in our interactions with others. Think of a situation at work, for instance, where a disagreement over a project needed to be addressed for the team to progress. If you kept quiet to avoid stepping on toes, you might have missed an opportunity to improve the outcome or strengthen your standing with others. Remember, high-value men admire those who can confidently face conflict and come out stronger, not those who shy away to keep the peace. So the next time a difficult conversation arises, ask yourself, how can this challenge help me grow? What lesson can I take from this situation to become stronger and more aligned with my true values? Let conflict be a tool that propels you forward, not something that holds you back. If you are ready to face the challenge and no longer fear conflict, comment below. I choose to face conflict instead of running away. Number 3, prioritize self-care. Are you truly respecting yourself? In today's fast-paced world, we often forget that self-care isn't just a luxury, but a necessary practice to maintain our value. When you prioritize self-care, physically, emotionally, and mentally, you're not only showing yourself respect, but you're also demonstrating to others how you expect to be treated. A Stoic life lesson that resonates here is that self-respect is the foundation of everything else. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Take care not to be deceived. Great wealth is not the same as greatness." In a similar way, true self-worth is not about what others see on the outside, but how well you take care of your inner self, both physically and mentally. In modern life, we see countless examples of successful men who take their health seriously, whether it's through regular exercise, eating well, or having routines that help keep their minds sharp and their emotions in check. Self-care isn't just about looking good for the outside world, it's about being strong on the inside. For instance, think about how often we neglect our mental well-being under stress, rushing through the workday without taking a break or allowing time to recharge. This only leads to burnout, which ultimately diminishes our value, not just in our own eyes, but in the eyes of those around us. High-value men, whether in business or personal life, recognize the importance of mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical fitness. By prioritizing these areas of self-care, they enhance their capacity to lead, innovate, and connect meaningfully with others. A person who doesn't take care of themselves may be seen as weak or lacking discipline, which only lowers their value in relationships and opportunities. Remember, you can't give from an empty cup. To win Stoic, you must first build a strong foundation of self-respect through self-care. So next time you're tempted to skip your workout, cut your sleep short, or bottle up your emotions to get through the day, ask yourself, how can I show respect to myself today? How can I prioritize my well-being to increase my value and lead a fulfilling life? When you take the time to care for yourself, you're sending the message to the world that you know your worth, and that's a powerful way to enhance your value in the eyes of others. Number 4, keep some mystery. When it comes to relationships, communication is undeniably important. But have you ever thought about the power of keeping a little mystery? It's a concept that might sound old-fashioned, but in reality, it's an essential ingredient in maintaining excitement and intrigue in any relationship. The Stoic mindset teaches us that balance is crucial in all aspects of life, and that includes the way we approach relationships. While you certainly don't want to hide your true self or withhold meaningful parts of your personality, you also don't have to reveal everything all at once. Think about it. If you're always completely open, sharing every detail and thought from the get-go, it can sometimes take away the chance for someone to truly get to know you over time. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, "A wise man is one who, knowing the value of time, understands the need for mystery." Mystery doesn't mean dishonesty, but rather it adds depth to the connection, allowing for gradual discovery and fostering curiosity. Think about the early days of a relationship, when everything felt fresh and exciting because there were still things to learn about each other. Doesn't that sense of anticipation create a sense of attraction? What if, instead of oversharing or pushing for full transparency all at once, you allowed space for your partner to discover you little by little? This creates a dynamic where both people are engaged, intrigued, and actively learning about one another. Too much, too soon can sometimes be overwhelming. It's not about playing games, but rather about letting the relationship unfold naturally and allowing both people to feel the excitement of getting to know each other. The Stoic happiness, which is grounded in self-control and wisdom, is all about being mindful of how you engage with others, appreciating the value of giving and taking time to cultivate something meaningful. So, how can you maintain that healthy balance of mystery while also communicating openly and honestly? It's all about pacing yourself, revealing parts of yourself when the time feels right, and embracing the journey of mutual discovery. The Stoic mindset reminds us that relationships, like all things in life, require a thoughtful approach. Don't rush to share everything, but instead savor the mystery and let it add a sense of wonder to the connection. By keeping some mystery alive, you keep things exciting, and in doing so, you preserve the energy that makes a relationship feel fresh and fulfilling. Number 5, communicate your needs clearly. In the realm of relationships and self-worth, one of the most critical lessons you can learn is how to clearly communicate your needs. This may seem simple, but it's a practice many avoid or overlook. Too often people settle for emotional neglect because they are afraid of expressing what they need. Yet, communicating your desires, your boundaries, and your emotions with clarity and confidence is not just important, it's necessary for maintaining your self-respect and value in any relationship. This is a Stoic life lesson that emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and ownership of your emotional needs. By expressing your needs, you are asserting your worth and showing that you value yourself enough to demand the same from others. High-value men, those who are grounded and centered in their principles, understand this completely. They do not allow themselves to be put in situations where their emotional needs are ignored because they know that true relationships are built on mutual respect and clear communication. Think about the modern workplace or social settings where people often wear masks, pretending everything is fine when they feel the opposite. It's so easy to follow this path of quiet suffering, fearing judgment or rejection. But let's consider a modern example. Imagine you're in a team at work, and you're consistently overloaded with tasks while your colleagues are not stepping up to share the burden. It's tempting to stay silent, to just grin and bear it. However, the Stoic approach encourages you to assert yourself, expressing your need for collaboration, for sharing responsibilities, and for balance in workload. This not only helps you manage your stress, but also elevates your value within the team. It sends the message that you are a person who knows their worth and is not afraid to communicate it. The beauty of expressing your needs with clarity is that it cultivates respect, not just from others, but for yourself as well. When you act out of integrity, staying true to your values and needs, you show that your worth is not negotiable. This principle resonates deeply with the teachings of Epictetus, who encouraged us to focus only on what is within our control, our actions, thoughts, and decisions. When you express your needs, you are exercising control over your emotional life, rejecting the idea that your happiness or peace of mind is dependent on others' actions. You are taking responsibility for your life, which is a cornerstone of Stoicism. However, it's also essential to recognize that the way you communicate is just as important as the message itself. The Stoic way of communicating is calm, measured, and free of excess emotion. It's not about demanding or manipulating, but about making your needs known without aggression or emotional outbursts. This is where high-value men and women distinguish themselves. They do not engage in drama or manipulation. They speak from a place of strength and composure, knowing that true influence comes from clarity and integrity. The lesson here is profound. In every interaction, whether personal or professional, we have the power to set the terms of our emotional engagement. We can choose to be passive and allow our needs to be neglected, or we can be assertive and express ourselves with the confidence that comes from knowing our worth. So ask yourself, what needs of yours have you been neglecting or suppressing? What would it take for you to communicate them with clarity? Are you prepared to stand firm in the value you bring to every relationship, be it personal, romantic, or professional? Ultimately, by embracing this Stoic principle of clear communication, you align with the values of high-value men and women who prioritize respect, integrity, and self-awareness. They know that true fulfillment comes not from appeasing others or sacrificing their own needs, but from being true to themselves. Therefore, the key lesson is simple yet powerful. Express your needs clearly and with confidence, knowing that you deserve to have them met. By doing so, you cultivate stronger, more authentic relationships and maintain the self-respect that is essential to living a life of purpose and meaning. Number 6, be patient. In the rush of modern life, it's easy to get caught up in the desire for instant gratification, especially when it comes to love and relationships. But the truth is, real and meaningful love takes time to develop. It's not something that can be rushed or forced. In a world where everything is expected to happen quickly, whether it's landing a job, getting things done, or finding success in personal pursuits, many people forget that the same principle doesn't apply to the most important aspects of life, like love. The Stoic life lessons teach us that the best things are often those that require patience and time. As the philosopher Epictetus wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Patience, in this context, means being in control of your emotions and expectations, allowing yourself to trust the natural pace of a relationship. You see, in our culture, we're often told that love should be fast, explosive, and immediate. But true love, the kind that endures and flourishes, requires time to develop, like a tree that doesn't grow overnight, but takes years to reach its full potential. In today's world, we are often conditioned to believe that the faster we move, the better we are at achieving our goals. Yet relationships work in a much different way. If we rush into them or push too hard too soon, we might overlook the importance of building a solid foundation of trust, respect, and mutual understanding. If you try to force love or skip the important stages of getting to know each other, you might find yourself in a relationship that lacks depth and longevity. The Stoic mindset teaches that self-control, acceptance of time, and consistency in our actions lead to results that are far more fulfilling and lasting. So how do you be patient in a world that constantly pressures you to act quickly? Start by shifting your focus from the end result to the journey. Enjoy the process of getting to know someone, of sharing experiences and learning together. Don't rush things. Trust that the relationship will unfold at its own pace and that you don't need to have all the answers right away. Love, like all meaningful things, requires time, and the Stoic mindset encourages us to embrace this truth. Be patient and remember that a lasting relationship is built on a foundation that is slow, steady, and strong. If you practice patience, you're not only allowing the relationship to grow at the right pace, but you're also strengthening your ability to be content in the present moment, something that is essential to winning Stoic in life. Relationships, like all good things, deserve your time and energy, and by allowing them to unfold naturally, you will find that true love will emerge with far more depth, beauty, and lasting power than you could ever rush to create. When you are ready to be patient and trust your own growth process, if you are no longer in a hurry but know that everything will come at the right time, leave a comment below. I am patient. I will achieve my goals. Number 7, stand by your principles. Have you ever wondered why sometimes, no matter how hard you try, certain relationships or connections just don't seem to work? It's easy to fall into the trap of compromising on your values to keep someone around. But have you stopped to think about what that does to your own sense of self-worth? Stoic principles teach us the importance of standing firm in our beliefs, even when it seems like doing so might cost us a relationship or a moment of comfort. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you let go of your principles to satisfy someone else's expectations, you lose a part of yourself. This is where the Stoic mindset comes in, helping us realize that our happiness doesn't come from others, but from staying true to who we are. Do you feel that pressure sometimes to bend your values in order to please others or fit in? It's natural, but consider this. Does that temporary peace truly benefit you in the long run? Or does it chip away at your integrity over time? Living a life of Stoic happiness means that we prioritize our own moral compass over external validation. It's not about being rigid or unyielding for the sake of being difficult. Instead, it's about having the strength to say no to things that go against your core principles, knowing that this will lead to a deeper sense of fulfillment and peace. Think about this. If you are compromising your values for someone else's approval, are you really living authentically? Or are you simply trying to keep others happy at the expense of your own happiness? This inner conflict can cause more harm than good, leading you to feel disconnected from your true self, which ultimately diminishes your value. A person who doesn't respect your principles is not someone who values you for who you are. The Stoic life teaches us that it's better to be alone with our integrity than to be surrounded by people who undermine it. How often do you find yourself in situations where you're pressured to go along with something that doesn't feel right just to keep the peace? And when you look back on those moments, does it leave you feeling fulfilled, or does it create a sense of unease and regret? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, how do you want to react when faced with a choice that challenges your values? It can be tough, no doubt, especially when relationships, whether personal or professional, seem at stake. But remember that when you stay true to your principles, you're not just showing strength to others, you're showing it to yourself. How do you think standing by your values impacts your self-respect and long-term happiness? Choosing to honor your beliefs, even when it's hard, doesn't just protect your peace, it protects your identity. Every time you allow someone to make you question your values, you are, in essence, giving away a piece of your authentic self. And over time, if you do this repeatedly, you may find yourself questioning who you really are, which is the opposite of what the Stoic mindset encourages. So, what does it take to stand by your principles in a world that often challenges them? It takes courage, but more than that, it requires the awareness that your true happiness lies in staying true to yourself. People come and go, but your principles should remain a cornerstone of your identity. Ask yourself this: would you rather be surrounded by people who accept you for who you truly are, or by people who only like the version of you that conforms to their desires? Your value is not determined by how easily you can bend to others' demands, but by your ability to live authentically and with integrity, just as the Stoics have always emphasized. And as you go through life, remember that standing by your principles isn't a weakness, it's a sign of strength. And in the end, it is what will bring you the truest happiness. Number 8. Build your own identity. In the journey of life, especially as a man between 30 and 65, you face various challenges and responsibilities. But one of the most crucial lessons you'll ever learn is how to preserve your identity, even within the closest of relationships. Let's delve into how maintaining your personal sense of self not only boosts your value, but also strengthens the bonds you share with others. One of the most destructive things you can do in life is to lose yourself in a relationship. It might seem harmless at first. You want to share your life, your goals, and your time with someone. However, when you allow your own identity to fade away, you rob not only yourself, but the relationship of true depth and potential. In the wise words of Epictetus, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This Stoic life lesson teaches us that true freedom, and ultimately value, comes from maintaining control over your own thoughts, emotions, and life choices, rather than relying on another to define you. Losing yourself in a relationship creates dependency, and this dependency diminishes your ability to contribute meaningfully, both to your own growth and to the relationship itself. Building and preserving your identity is about ensuring that you don't lose sight of your goals, passions, and individual worth. It's important to foster your personal interests and relationships, whether it's your career, hobbies, or friendships. These aspects of your life aren't just placeholders, they shape who you are and what you bring to the table. If you abandon these parts of yourself, you stop growing as a person, and this stagnation can lead to resentment and dissatisfaction, both within yourself and the relationship. Modern life often pressures us to merge with our partner or family unit to the point where we forget our own ambitions. Whether you're a business executive, a father, or a partner, it's essential to carve out time for your personal growth and pursuits. By doing so, you maintain a sense of individuality that adds strength, clarity, and purpose to everything you do, making you a more grounded and interesting person, thus increasing your value in the eyes of others. Let's take a look at how this plays out in a modern context. You might be in a long-term marriage or a serious partnership, and while your partner's desires and needs are important, they should never overshadow your own. Think about a time when you put your dreams on hold to satisfy someone else's vision for your life. How did that feel? When you ignore your own identity, you lose your sense of self-worth. To truly win Stoic, you must recognize that you can only contribute to others when you've first mastered your own life. This is where Stoic wisdom truly shines. Through self-mastery, you can nurture both your personal growth and your relationships. In conclusion, maintaining your identity isn't just an individual pursuit. It's a necessity for healthy, fulfilling relationships. By holding on to your sense of self, setting boundaries, and focusing on your own growth, you create space for meaningful connection while increasing your value in all areas of life. Don't be afraid to stand firm in your beliefs, goals, and passions. Your true power lies in your ability to remain whole, no matter the circumstances. Number 9, trust the process. In the journey of life, it's easy to get caught up in the desire to be liked and accepted, especially when it comes to relationships. We often find ourselves adjusting, tweaking, or even hiding parts of ourselves to fit into someone else's idea of who we should be. But deep down, have you ever wondered if this is the right way to build a meaningful connection with someone? Stoic life lessons teach us the value of trusting the process of life and the importance of letting things unfold naturally. A key part of that process is believing that the right person will appreciate you for who you truly are. You don't have to change, mask, or pretend to be someone you're not just to gain someone's approval. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you remain true to yourself, the right people will be drawn to you, while those who don't understand your worth will naturally fade away. So let's take a step back. Are you willing to let go of those who don't value you? Or do you find yourself holding on, hoping that things will change, even when deep inside you know they're not meant to? Trusting the process also means releasing the fear of rejection or failure. It's easy to look at high-value men and women who seem to have it all together and think they don't face doubts or challenges. But the truth is, everyone has a journey. High-value men, the kind of people you respect and admire, aren't perfect, and they understand the importance of self-respect and integrity. They are drawn to others who, like them, have the strength to trust the journey of life without constantly seeking approval from others. It's not about being perfect, but about being real and letting life unfold as it should. Think about this. How many times have you found yourself compromising your values or changing who you are to please someone, only to feel empty or unfulfilled? Trusting the process means believing that true happiness comes not from fitting into someone else's mold, but from living authentically. The reality is, when you let go of the people who don't value you, you're making space for those who do. This can be difficult, especially when you've invested time and energy into someone. But remember that the right person will appreciate you for the real you, not for a version of yourself you've created to fit their expectations. And yes, sometimes it feels like a loss when you part ways with someone who wasn't the right fit, but think about how freeing it is to let go of that weight. One of the most powerful modern examples of this comes from the world of business. Many successful entrepreneurs, especially those who have become high-value individuals, talk about the importance of trusting the process. They've often experienced numerous failures, but each time they failed, they chose to trust the process rather than get discouraged. They didn't bend or change who they were just to meet someone's expectations. In fact, the most successful people have learned the art of letting go of people and situations that don't align with their values. So what about you? Do you trust the process in your relationships? Are you able to let go of those who don't appreciate your true worth? And do you believe that the right person will come along when the time is right? It's about more than just waiting for someone. It's about cultivating a life where you are confident in who you are, trusting that when you're authentic, the right people will find you. This doesn't mean you stop trying, but it means you stop forcing things that aren't meant to be. Trusting the process is about having faith that your path will lead you to where you belong, and that the people who truly value you will enter your life in their own time. In the end, the lesson is simple. Stop chasing after approval. Start living authentically, trusting that the right people will recognize your value and that you don't need to change who you are to be appreciated. Letting go is hard, but it's necessary for growth. Trust that the process will bring you to the right people and experiences, and remember, you are enough just as you are. As you put these strategies into practice, embracing independence, welcoming healthy conflict, prioritizing self-care, and trusting the process, you'll notice your relationships growing deeper, more meaningful, and ultimately more fulfilling. By staying true to your principles, maintaining your individuality, and expressing your needs with clarity, you create the foundation for relationships built on respect, trust, and admiration. Remember, the right person will value you for who you truly are. When you stay authentic to yourself, not only do you elevate your relationships, but you also elevate your life. If you want to become the best version of yourself and embrace the modern Stoic way of living, hit that like button, share this video with others, and make sure to subscribe to Win Stoic for more life-changing content. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update from us. Stay strong, stay true, and keep winning.